Hiya and welcome to this week's Writing for Wellbeing activity. So what we're going to do this week, it's really simple, it's really straightforward, and you don't need any particular equipment and you don't need to be in any particular place to do it. It also probably won't even take that long, although obviously you can take as long as you like. But the one thing I would say is that I think this might be a really nice activity to kind of share with and talk about with other people in your house. And especially you might like to ask other adults in your house their response to this activity. So I'll explain a little bit more about that at the end. Because what we're talking about and thinking about this week is the idea of talismans. So a talisman is defined as an object that is believed to bring good luck or to keep its owner safe from harm. So often if you've heard about talismans before, it might often be within kind of a fantasy setting. People think of talismans as like magical, enchanted objects that have special powers or properties. So if you've read myths and legends, you might have a hero in search of an amulet charged with particular powers. That might be a talisman. But you can also think about the idea of talismans, these kind of special objects, as things that are much more ordinary and everyday, and that many of us have ourselves, our own personal talismans. These special objects that are meaningful to us in some way. Now, often these objects might seem really kind of unassuming to people that didn't have that emotional connection to them. And often, although not always, the talismans might not really have like much financial or monetary value. So even though you use it all the time and it's important, something like your phone or your laptop, that probably wouldn't count as like a talisman. Because a talisman is something you feel really emotionally connected to, that's really particularly special to you, just to you in some way. So talisman might be like something that someone else has given you and that was meaningful in some way. It might be something that reminds you of a particular special time. It might be something that you've had since you were really young. It might be something that you like to keep on you because it calms you down, or it makes you feel relaxed, or it makes you feel like connected to someone else in some way. So the types of objects and things that can be talismans are completely different for different people. But to explain what I mean, I'm going to show you a couple of mine. So the first one I've got, you can probably see there, is this little conker. Now, I always have a kind of talisman, I would say, that I carry around in my coat pocket of my coat that I wear all the time. And I kind of like fiddle with it, and doing that seems to really like calm me down. It's quite reassuring somehow. And the thing that I used to carry around that used to be special to me was a stone that I got off a beach in France when I was travelling with some friends quite a few years ago. So that was quite a special reminder of that time. I lost that. Sad times. But then my friend gave me this. He said that he always collects conkers, and he said that he thought this one was really good because it had kind of like a finger hold in it. It's a really like pleasing shape. So it kind of reminds me of him, and I find it quite pleasing just to hold on to. It calms me down. Now, the other thing that I've got is this card. You might be able to see that my friend made me. You can see no one's going to buy this. It's very simply done. But she gave that to me when a few years ago I was going travelling for quite a few months by myself. And she made me this card because she said this was a happy card. And if ever I was feeling homesick, if I was feeling lonely, I could look at this and I could feel connected to home and I could kind of perk up again. So both those things, even though they're kind of to someone else they might be silly, they might not understand them, to me they're quite important and special. So I want you to think, what kind of things feel like talismans to you? You know, is there anything that reminds you of like a special time, a special place, a special person? Is there anything that you quite like to have with you that maybe having it near you makes you feel a bit calmer or more relaxed, or that maybe feels like it's something that's like a little bit lucky perhaps? Is there anything that really connects you to a particular time or place in your life where you really value that feeling of connection? So all I want you to do this activity is to think about what kind of personal talismans you have. What are these little things, these objects that are special to you in some way? Then I want you to write down, or if you don't want to write it, you can record it in a way that works for you. But write down or record what the talisman is, a description of it, the story behind it, why it is important to you. I hope that by doing this, there's a bit of a sense of comfort and reassurance, and I also think it might be a really lovely thing to look back on in the future. So that's your task for this week. Think about what your talismans are, these personal objects that are important to you. Write down or record what they are, what their story is, and why they matter to you. And, like I said at the beginning, I think this might be a really nice activity for lots of different people in your household to do. So perhaps you could ask this question to maybe some adults in your house. You could even share this video or the written instructions for this activity with them. I hope it's a nice thing for you to think about, to reflect on, and to have that record in the future. So enjoy this activity, and we'll see you soon.